Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Scouts on the Run podcast, where we take a behind-the-scenes look at what's happening in the Gordon College cross-country and track and field programs. So no episode last week. It was right before Thanksgiving break. I think everybody was eager to get back home, but we're back now. We're going to recap Rachel Brennan's appearance at Nationals for the second year in a row and get into previewing indoor track season. Coach Miela, good to see you again. How was your Thanksgiving?
Good to see you. Thanksgiving was good. Thanksgiving was much needed,
Yes.
Coach Luco and I, we've been going pretty much since August, every single weekend, 6 days a week. It's been a ride. So much needed. A lot of good time with the family, and caught my breath a little bit. But life of a track coach, you get a week off, and this Saturday we're right into our first indoor meet. So you don't get much. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. The drive back, I woke up at like 4 o'clock on a Wednesday morning and got on the road by 4:30.
You go to Delaware or Philly?
Delaware,
Nice.
yeah. So the drive back the drive back home, I should say, the drive leaving here wasn't too bad. The drive coming back up here on Sunday afternoon was a little bit more rough. But
I can imagine.
Yeah. So, but good to be back, and
Yeah, man.
yeah,
Me too.
like you said, there's really no off season, especially now that indoor track is a varsity sport.
That's
for the
right.
first time
That's
ever.
right.
So, I don't know. Do you want to start with that, or do you want to recap Rachel first? What do you want to do?
Let's go. Let's talk Rachel.
right.
Honestly, obviously, because it's a little overdue. Because, like you said, the holiday kind of bumped us back a week. But I haven't done the research this in depth. But I think she's probably the highest finisher at nationals that Gordon has ever had. I'd have to do the research on that. Definitely since we transitioned to Division III, because I don't think we've had anybody crack the top 100 in our program's history. So, Rachel continues to create her resume for the best Gordon runner of all time for sure. And just giving a little bit of a recap. Rachel was down there on Thursday I think she had practiced before they had left, and then they previewed the course on Friday. Much different than last year. Last year was a couple inches of snow. This year, the weather was nice. It was bit nippy outside, but it was still pretty. It was a good day for cross country, right? And this course, as my first time seeing the course, Rachel and Coach Luco had seen it earlier this year when they went to pre-nats. But this course was hilly. This course was steep. It really challenged the guts of every runner that was in there. Everything was pretty much set up. There was no kind of necessarily excuses in terms of weather or anything like that. It was a pretty good day, and Rachel went out and she got off to a good start, and she finished really strong. I think it was the middle part of the race where you kind of go into these woods where she might have fallen off her pace just a little bit. And I'll say this, that I hope to be honest in this podcast, not just kind of always give pie in the sky perspectives. I think we came in hoping she could be an All-American. All-American's top 40. She got 63rd, so there was definitely some disappointment that we had to get over, and that's what's tough, right, is you and I were talking right before we got on this that she made an improvement of 163 spots from what she did last year, which is pretty incredible. And that's kind of the dichotomy of this sport, is sometimes you run so much better, and yet you're left wondering, man, could I have done more? Could I have done better to kind of, again, just jump 23 spots and get that title of being Gordon Cross Country's first All-American. So sorry for the long response and the big overview there.
No,
but,
that was great. Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess that's, I can certainly relate to that mentality. I think I might have even mentioned it on this podcast before, but, I was the kind of runner, like in high school, if I want to meet by 10 seconds, I'd be thinking to myself, how could I have won that meet by 15 seconds?
Right, right.
Even though, result-wise, you really can't do much better, you're always thinking about areas of the course where you might have zoned out a little bit or could improve for next time. So
100%, man. And,
yeah, totally.
And Rachel's been so good for our program for, since she got here. I think, these races, these are certainly bigger races for her. And I think with more race experience, she'll get more comfortable. And frankly, I think what I've seen in her just on even the drive back from Pennsylvania and then, over the next few weeks, from then to now, I think she's she's motivated. In some ways, it's a coach's dream, right? Because she did really well. I mean, she's, like we said, highest finisher in Gordon history, 163 spots from last year, which is an incredible improvement. But she's put in a spot where she's still got room to grow, and so that motivation can really propel her forward, obviously, into the track season and into next cross-country season. But I don't want to overlook the tremendous effort that she has put in from day one to get to this spot. She really has prioritized everything to get her to this point. It's very clear, no matter if she's working over the summer or whatever, she gets her runs in, she takes care of herself, she prioritizes putting herself in the best position possible to be successful, and she's done that since day one, and that's why she's been as great as she has been since she's got here.
Yeah, so just to put it into perspective by the numbers a little bit, like you mentioned, 226th place was her result in 22, and now in 23 to finish 63rd. It's a 163 place improvement. That's the fifth best year-to-year improvement among the field in D3 Nationals.
It's incredible.
And her time was 22:12.1, and she is, it says here, the lone fighting Scot from the cross-country program to qualify for a national championship twice.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
So,
and we obviously, and she's still got another year left. So, I've been reflecting a lot on the women's team year, the last day or so, and when I think about Rachel's success, I think about some of the other girls on the team, Caroline. We have all 5 of our girls coming back next year. We are encouraged by what we're seeing with our recruiting class, and I think what we realized this year with this team got 12th at regionals. We missed getting 3rd in our conference by 1 point. I think we realized what we were actually capable of. I'm not sure, and even I think this applies to Rachel as an individual as well, but I think we went in with high hopes but not truly believing what we were capable of. I think through the course of the season, it revealed that we truly, again, the women's team specifically, is truly capable of more than even they anticipated. And so I hope that going into next year, going into track season, we can build that belief in our squad so that we can we can go for those bigger marks, go for bigger team goals going into next year.
Yeah, and just to further drive home the point of the perspective of what a great accomplishment it is, 293 runners were in this meet, and Rachel finishes 63rd. So think of what it takes to get to nationals,
right?
And how great every runner in this field is. To be in the top quarter of that field is still a tremendous accomplishment. I know, like you said, she was a little disappointed she couldn't come home top 40, but still a great improvement from year to year, and
for sure.
Hopefully that will lead right into track season, like you were mentioning.
Definitely. And like I said, I don't want to diminish what she's done. I think she's done a great job, and I know that her and our coaching staff, we're all really hungry for her to accomplish more in the future.
Well, on that note, I'm going to defer to you here in many respects because, like I mentioned, this is the first time for us that we have indoor track as an official sport.
Right.
I only ran one indoor meet here in my time.
No kidding.
Because we were just starting to try to get this launched. I think we did one meet in February of 2020.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, the world kind of shut down, so
that's right.
Was pretty disappointing. But we're back now, and we're going to have a full season. So why don't you tell us a little bit about indoor track and what that schedule is going to look like in the coming months?
Well, before I jump in, do you remember where it was?
I feel like it might have been Bowdoin.
Up in Maine.
Yeah.
And what'd you run?
I ran an 800. It was
four laps.
Yeah.
How was it?
It could have been better. I mean, because I was thinking at the time this is going to be my first of many, so I wasn't too down about it. But it's not like I ran a terrible race, I don't think. But it certainly could have been a little bit faster than it was. But
well, no, that's good. Well, and I partly is asking because I think it's good perspective. Again, if that was back in 2020, obviously this will be 2024 in a couple weeks here, but in just 4 years, we've gone from having one indoor meet as a program. Now indoor track is a sponsored varsity sport here at Gordon. We're getting a new varsity weight room at Gordon. So I think the first thing to say is it's a testament to what's going on in the department as a whole, the momentum that's around the athletic department at Gordon right now. It's the reason why we can claim indoor track as a varsity sport for us. Now, really what that means is that we'll compete, I guess, slightly more frequently in indoor. We had a few indoor meets on our schedule last year, but really, yeah, we'll be able to take indoor track a little bit more seriously because that allows us to have a few more practices in the fall. So as cross country has been going on, our track and field athletes have been pretty much training since early in the fall semester, and they haven't. That's the difference. Is cross country. You get a meet every other week, so much or so, and for those athletes, they've pretty much been training this whole time for this one meet for this semester, knowing that they'll have more meets next semester, and so it can be a bit of a grind. But like I said, we're excited to have indoor track, and I think because we've had that extra time to prepare, we're coming into this meet a lot more focused. So I think we're excited for some of the bigger, or just some better performances to start the year than we've had in the past.
So what does the schedule look like as you mentioned, it's end of the semester is going to be here before you know it. So how many opportunities are we going to have before we get into 24?
We'll run one indoor meet this Saturday. It's the meet's called the Suffolk Relays. It's hosted at the track at New Balance, which is a state-of-the-art facility in Boston. And then that'll actually be the one meet we compete in this semester because finals comes up quickly after that. And so we'll go on a break because of finals and Christmas break. And then right when we get back, January 13th, we are actually back at the track at New Balance at a meet that is also hosted by Suffolk because we think it's a great facility to get into. So that'll be January 13th, January 27th. So we pretty much go every other week through the indoor season. January 13th and January 27th, we will split our team between Wheaton and BU for anybody who gets into Boston University Invitationals. And then we have one more meet. I forget where that's at in the middle of February. And then to compete after that, you have to qualify for the New England Championships, which I also believe will be at the track at New Balance. So we'll be able to go there a lot this year.
So looking ahead, what are some goals and expectations you have for the team this season? I know it's obviously only the first year we've had an official indoor season, but even looking ahead to outdoor, what are you looking for?
Well, we don't have an indoor conference championship. I think that's our conference doesn't sponsor that. I think our hope now that we have indoors is to really prioritize running well at the regional championship. And I think actually for this year in particular, both indoor and outdoor, our focus is really going to be seeing how many athletes we can get to qualify for those two regional championships for indoor and for outdoor, and see if we can kind of climb the ranks of our region. I think we had our 4x4 was an all-region 4x4. Joe Tibbles I think he got fourth in the decathlon last year. And so our hope is that we can get a lot of people to qualify and use that as a momentum builder so that not only are we qualifying, but we're scoring points at regionals. And again, we continue to prove ourselves as a top team in this region. And I think we've got the talent to do that on our roster right now.
All right, well, certainly a lot to look forward to, and of course we'll keep everybody updated here on this podcast, I'm sure, as we roll through the indoor season and then into outdoor season after that. So thank you all so much for listening as always, and we will see you on the next episode.